Om Namo Gurudev Namo. The complete Adi mantra is Om Namo Gurudev Namo and is used to tune in to higher consciousness at the beginning of every Kundalini yoga class. When translated from Sanskrit, it means I bow to the creative wisdom. I bow to the divine teacher within. The invocation from the Sufi tradition toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the spirit of guidance. Those are the invocations to practice creativity that I want to share with you this morning in Wednesday Morning Adult Coloring Jam. Now, in the past several weeks, I've been joining you with Facebook Live, and I'm just moving this today, this live stream, onto my YouTube channel. So I'm hoping that members of my meetup group can be able to find this video whenever it is convenient for them. And in the past several weeks, we've been working in the mandalas and more. So in Facebook, I'm not sure I turn off the mirroring of my video. Clearly, I'm mirrored in the YouTube. I may be able to change that in settings, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. But this week, I am inspired to share with you, rather than coloring a mantra from that work, since you may have a different coloring book available to you, and I've shared with you previously in the Facebook group that you will be able to draw your own mandalas. This is a mandala with words that I'm using in another workshop that I'm facilitating called Alternatives to Violence Project. But I was inspired this morning noticing these older books that I have. The Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain, and I would like to share with you this very short section from this book. That it's yellowed, so I'm just looking at the front pages of it for the copyright year, which is over here, 1979. So these are the 4 basic steps for effective creative visualization, and these are on pages 16 through 18 of this little book that I found just looking at the bottom of my bookshelf and wanted to share with you. So again, the 4 basic steps for effective creative visualization, as brought to you by author Shakti Gawain. Number 1, set your goal. Decide on something you would like to have, work toward, realize, or create. It can be on any level: a job, a house, relationship, a change in yourself, increased prosperity, a happier state of mind, improved health, beauty, or better physical condition, or whatever. At first, choose goals that are fairly easy for you to believe in, that you feel possible to realize in fairly near future. That way you won't have to deal with too much negative resistance in yourself, and you can maximize your feelings of success as you are learning creative visualization. Later, when you have more practice, you can take on more difficult or challenging problems. 2, create a clear idea or picture. Create an idea or mental picture of the object or situation exactly as you want it. You should think of it in the present tense as already existing in the way you want it to be. Picture yourself with the situation as you desire it now. Include as many details as you can. You may wish to make an actual physical picture of it as well by making a treasure map, which is described in later detail in this work that I'm reading from. This is an optional step, of course, not all at all necessary, but often helpful and much fun. Number 3, focus on it often. Bring your idea or mental picture to mind often, both in quiet meditation periods and also casually throughout the day when you happen to think of it. In this way, it becomes an integrated part of your life. It becomes more of a reality for you, and you project it more successfully. Focus on it clearly, yet in a light, gentle way. It is important not to feel like you are striving too hard for it or putting out excessive amount of energy into it that would tend to hinder rather than help. And number 4, give it positive energy. As you focus on your goal, think about it in a positive and encouraging way. Make strong, positive statements to yourself that it exists, that it has come or is now coming to you. See yourself receiving or achieving it. These positive statements are called affirmations. While you are using affirmations, try to temporarily suspend any doubts or disbelief you may have, at least for the moment, and practice getting the feeling that that which you desire is very real or possible. So I also have the creative visualization workbook that's a companion for, and it's funny how the workbook is literally 4 times as big as the original book. And I think it's actually published many years later. Let me just check that. Yeah, so this one is 1995. So from 79 to 95, 16 years later with the workbook. But so this episode of our adult coloring jam, like I said, it's a little different. I'm speaking to you, I'm reading from these texts, but I found that this work that I'm suggesting, this activity, is very in line with the coloring, with the taking a moment to be in the present moment and to affirm your creativity, your creative vision for what it is that you want to achieve by practicing with me in the paint yoga environment. So with that, let me continue with on page 6 here of the Creative Visualization Workbook, this activity of writing affirmations. So this is in line with the reading I just shared with you in the long text. And the writing affirmations exercise asks you to take any affirmation you want to work with and write it out 10 or 20 times in succession on a piece of paper. Use your name and also try writing it in the first, second, and third persons. Remember to use the present tense. For example, I, Shakti, have now finished the Creative Visualization Workbook. Shakti, you have now finished the Creative Visualization Workbook. Shakti has now finished the Creative Visualization Workbook. Don't just write it by rote. Really think about the meaning of the words as you write them. Notice whether you feel any resistance, doubts, or negative thoughts about what you are writing, and whenever you do, even slightly, turn your page over and on the back write out the negative thought, the reason why the affirmation can't be true, can't work, or whatever. For example, I'm really not good enough. I'm too old. This isn't going to work. Then go back to writing the affirmation. When you're finished, take a look at the back of the paper, and if you have been honest, you will have a good look at the reasons why you are keeping yourself from having what you want in this particular case. With this in mind, make up any affirmations that you would like to use. So with that said, there's definitely going to be a reason why you decided to come to this video today. And, I would like you to take a moment and just breathe in and feel that reason for being attracted to paint yoga. Be with your expectations of what you think this means. As I've done through the Facebook group, I've been, like I said, creating a sacred space through the use of mandalas and coloring techniques for relaxation and being in the present moment, choosing now from a range of infinite possibilities. And now it's time for you to tune in to your goal with that work. What do you hope to achieve? Now write that out as if it presently is real and happening now. Write that out 10 to 20 times. And as Shakti shared with you, if there are any negative thoughts that come up, journal those as well. On the other side of the page, maybe take a moment to be with yourself and sit with any feelings in your body that come up with this affirmation as if your goal is real. And don't start with something that's just unbelievable. I'm going to have $20 billion by the end of next month. Not going to happen. But something, starting a new habit, like making a weekly video, making a daily blog entry, any of those things that you have been feeling held back on. This can help you identify any of your mental hurdles that are saying, "Oh, you don't have anything useful to share," or, nobody wants to see your bougie face on video, or whatever the kind of, uh, non-affirmations, the opposite of affirmations, the critic inside you is saying, take a moment and imagine what it would be like if that wasn't true. And I invite you to take that moment to breathe, to take that awareness of the teacher within and the moment of choice that you have when you stop to be only in what is now. So go about your day, do that journaling activity, take a moment afterwards to rest and integrate, and join me next week for another episode of Paint Yoga's Wednesday morning adult coloring jam. See you then.